I'm Jeffrey Johnson. I'm the Quality Control Manager for ST Wooten Corporation. And today we're going to talk about the process of making a ton of asphalt. Behind me, this is natural sand. This is a fine aggregate that we put in our mix. It is cheaper than what you would buy from the quarry. And it also is a lighter specific gravity, so you can help control the mix because you have different gravities. And to my right, this is dry screenings. We use dry screenings in there for the 200 content in the mix. Both of these piles are considered as fine aggregate. We also use coarse aggregate for our asphalt. Behind me, that is wrap ag. That's it has AC content of around 5 to 5.2% AC, and that's recycled material. And we normally use around 30% in our mixes of recycled material. And we'll go look at the coarse aggregate now. This is 78 M's. We typically use this rock in the surface mixes and the basin binder. But if we only have 78s in there, that's going to be for surface mixes only. The other two are number 57s and number 5s. Number 5 is more coarse. It's used for a base mix, the first mix. The intermediate mix would use the 57s along with the 78 M's and the 2 fine aggregates that we use. These are basically the 3 coarse aggregates that we use in a mix of asphalt. You look over here, these are our cold feeds. You have a partition in the middle to separate the cold feeds of each individual aggregate. You'll notice on the right we have our natural sand, then we use the dry screenings, then we have 78 M's, 57s, and then number 5s. Our plant will put the percentage of each mix we use for that particular job mix formula, and if it's 30% natural sand, it'll put 30% natural sand across the belt scales, and it weighs it and it goes into the drum. We'll talk about it later on, but that's how we separate each bin so that they don't contaminate. If you notice, these stock piles are separated. We don't like them to intermingle. We have a probably 10, 12 foot barrier that you can drive through so that they do not intermingle with each other. Those 2 bins there, they're for our wrap recycle. We could use our recycled asphalt pavement, or we can use shingles. But that's where our recycled material goes into the mix. The bins over here, that would be considered our virgin materials. There's no asphalt in the materials, only in the wrap. Those 2 tanks, they're about 30,000 gallon tanks, and that's where we hold our asphalt cement. It's pumped from a truck, and that's where we contain each PG grade of AC that goes into a mix. The recycle comes across, and it's introduced into the barrel about at the midpoint. Go around. Let's go this way. These bins, they'll hold about 20 tons of aggregate. So the loader man, he's constantly got to be filling up these bins. And like I said, this was natural sand, dry screenings, 78s, 57s, and 5s. This little belt up here, the material flows through here and falls on this small belt. If we want to increase the amount that goes into the total mix, we'll speed up the belt. And that'll put more of this material into the total mix. This belt here, it comes across. This is our ag belt scale. We got an ag belt scale that weighs it. It's coming across here. This is all virgin material. And it'll fall on the screen deck, and any large material that we do not want in the mix, it'll be screened off so that we get the right size material going into the mix and nothing that's going to be out of spec. This material falls onto the ag belt scale. It goes into our drum. This plant is capable of doing 400 tons per hour. Inside this drum, it's rotating. It's heated up to probably 500 degrees, somewhere around there. The asphalt cement is then sprayed is weighed. This ag belt scale weighs the aggregate and gets the right percentage of AC, so that if you want 6% total of the mix, it puts it into the mix and mixes it all together with the asphalt cement. Up there on top, that's where our recycled material comes in also. And like I said, we run about 30% recycled into our mix. So you got 70% virgin, 30% recycled. Once it's mixed, this is called a drag. The asphalt will fall into this drag, and we take it up the drag, and we have 4 silos. These silos will hold about 200 tons per silo. So if we pave tomorrow and we wanted 800 tons before we get started, we can have 800 tons produced, ready to ship out in the morning. So what we'll do is it goes up the drag, we'll pick out which container or which silo we want it to go into. And if we want surface in 2 of them, we'll fill up two silos of surface, and we may need a silo of base, and we'll fill up the 3rd or 4th silo with base. And that way we can start out with base and have another crew that needs surface. We can provide for 2 different jobs that way. That little room there, that's our control room. Our plant operator, he's in that room, and we go in there to make our changes in the mix. We monitor mix temp. Right now, the JMFs that we have, we're looking at about 300 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what we want, around 300, 290 to 300. And we monitor that in the control room. If we need to make an adjustment in the mix, we go to the control room, and we'll make an adjustment to the cold feeds so that we can get the right gradation, sieve analysis, and mix properties that we're looking for when we test the asphalt. Go to the left. platforms. These are the platform scales. The truck will come, pull underneath whatever silo that we're pulling out of that day, and we've got a tear rate for the truck. And you tear it out, and you put 20 tons. Most times, 18 to 20 tons per truck will be dumped out of the silo onto the truck. And most time we do it in 3 drops. And once he gets his ticket, he'll pull off the scale and he can take it to the roadway. We sample on a random basis. We have a list with random numbers, and that'll tell us when to pull a test each day. So if we have one at 105 tons, we go over there, find out when 105 tons are being distributed. We tell the truck once he's loaded, he'll come over here, he'll pull up against this sample rack, and we get on top and we take our samples off this sampling rack. Once we get 120 pounds of sample, we take it inside to our lab and we'll go in there and I'll show you the process in there.